This week as I read Vivian's message in our inquiring minds, it ends up talking about how important our individual consciousness is in how much influence it has in the collective consciousness of our universe. And I thought about last week I talked on the we consciousness rather than the me consciousness. And these are different, but how they interact together. I watched a special on PBS not long ago, and it was about animals swarming. And it was very interesting. One of the groups that were migrating were sardines. And there were like millions of sardines. And when they come together, it seems like they have a one mind, a divine wisdom. And like most animals, part of their function in the world is to be food for other animals. And when they are schooling and migrating, they're very close together, and they outmaneuver and outswim their predators. Whales, dolphins, big fish, sharks. They have this collective consciousness, this divine mind about them. Bats down in Texas come out of this cave. There's millions and millions of them. It takes a couple hours. They don't bump into each other. They've got accident protection built into them. They go and they come back. Butterflies, monarch butterflies, all go to one mountaintop. I think it's down in Mexico. And there's billions of them. And as they begin their migration for thousands of miles, new butterflies are born. And these monarch butterflies scattered all over the northern part of the world all migrate south to the very same mountaintop, to some place they've never been before. But they have that being together, that collective consciousness, that collective mind, divine knowledge. And I think that happens with people as well. I was having a conversation about this the other day. It's kind of humorous maybe, but I think it's very true. Women, for example, when you get a bunch of women living in close proximity to each other, their cycles all wind up the same. I'll talk more about this human collective consciousness in a moment, or give more examples of, but it is said that any government is an exact example of the consciousness of their country. And we've seen that go all over the map over the last 50 years. And right now, our consciousness appears, half of our people are scared. They're angry. They're hurt. I think we're suffering from a huge disease of ignorance and self-indulgence. And on one hand, we may try to judge that, but the other hand, that's just the way it is. But I'd like to have you look at the first quote at the bottom of your page. It's a great wake-up call, because all of a sudden, people are stepping beyond ignorance, stepping beyond fear and anger. Our consciousness is shifting. Our collective consciousness, not only of this country, of our world, is shifting. You know, for quite a few years, probably the last 30 years, one of the most important things in this country has been the economy, the precious economy. It seems like it's more important than the education of our children, more important than our security and whether or not people have something to eat or shelter or can have the right kind of health care. It's like the economy is the most important thing and has been for years, except when it's not. And when it's not is when something like Katrina or Pearl Harbor or the big storm that hit New York or polio or AIDS or TB. All of a sudden, economy doesn't make any difference. That's when people get this we consciousness. And they don't care about politics, they don't care about religion, they don't care about opinion. They just get together as one mind, of divine mind and energy and resource. And they hook on to the abundance that's everywhere, and they make things happen for the good of the whole. The we consciousness. I don't think there's a single day, I can't remember a day in the last couple of years, when I haven't thought, gratitude, I'll use that word. I have to be the most fortunate man that I know, most fortunate human being that I know. Because I get paid to spend a lot of my time and effort and insight and energy focused on the we consciousness. My job is to think about things and present things to you for your benefit. I can't think of a better job. Well, maybe working in a high-end ladies' shoe store in Beverly Hills. Nah, I have the best job. I have the best job. You know, I know for a fact that sitting right here in this room, there are people that are struggling with depression, relationship problems, health problems, physical problems, mental problems, addiction, fear, loneliness. Did I leave anybody out? Read the last quote in your order of service. You can read it together. It is one of the most beautiful compensations of this life that no person can sincerely try to help another without helping him or herself. Serve and you shall be served. If you love and serve people, you cannot, by any hiding or stratagem, escape the remuneration. I have the best job in the world, and you can have it too. And money has nothing to do with it. 15 years ago, I suffered from depression, massive depression. Have most of my life. But 15 years ago, I would go into my cave and stay there for a week. Not shave, not talk to anybody, not answer the phone. The thing that got me out of the cave was Sunday mornings. And as I have learned about this reciprocity thing, about serving others, about thinking about the welfare of others, once in a while a little depression sneaks in, and I think that's probably pretty normal for people that think a lot about things. You can get stuck in the quagmire of thought, especially if you don't have some of that distraction like entertainment that I talked about last week. It's good we have these things to distract us. But the best cure for my depression has been to keep focused on the welfare and what's good for the whole, what's welfare of other people, and how may I serve. And it has for me changed my financial position, my depression, my outlook. Wayne Dyer says, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And that is so true. It can work, I'm sure. Ralph Waldo Emerson guarantees it in writing. It will work for you as well. The we consciousness. And we've all seen it. We've seen the people out in boats rescuing flood victims. We've seen countries go into overdrive to find cures for terrible things that have happened in their countries, diseases. It's all about our focus. And when each one of us shifts our consciousness from a me to a we, that truly has huge impact on the consciousness of our community, of our country, of our universe. Guaranteed. Ralph said so. I encourage every one of you, next time you're stuck having a pity party, just look around. You'll see someone that can use a hand. I heard someone say once, you don't ever look down on another person. That's less when you bend over to give them a hand to help them up. We are in this together with all the bugs, with all the plants, with all the animals. And the more we become aware of that, the more we give to that, the richer and the more satisfying your life will be. And that's the truth.